personally began to sort of wonder, you get these funny kind of boundaries around disciplines that I think sometimes silo off areas of knowledge from one another. And even within disciplines, you get this kind of siloing of knowledge. You got the guys who study depression, and they're over there studying depression, and then you got the guys that are over here studying anxiety, and they're over here studying anxiety. And there's like stuff that these groups know about. Maybe they have different ways of talking about them, and like the classic one that I always think of is the behavioral activation, which all the depression guys know about, and then exposure, which all the exposure folks know about. And I think, how do you do exposure that doesn't involve moving, becoming active in some regard? And then I think about, behavioral activation, and, it's not merely about getting active. It's about the day that you get active is a kind of a scary day. Can I do it? Can I keep it up? All this stuff. If you're really, really depressed and you're laying in bed with the covers pulled over you, and you've been down for days, and you need to put your feet on the floor. Oh, that's a scary day. The day that you send your feet over the side of the bed and let them touch the floor. How is that not exposure? And yet, these kind of, just within a discipline. So then I think, well, you look at something like psychotherapy, and I'm not even sure I know exactly what that means. And then you look at, medicine, which has substantially been, concerning itself with bodies. And I think we need each other. And I think that you're exactly right. I think that in the modern world in particular, we are dying from the world that we've engineered and how we live in it. We cannot afford to sort of have these things siloed off from one another.
Exactly. I was thinking, I've got two images when you were talking. So I like when you talk, it's like I'm seeing pictures. When you were talking about movement in all these different conditions, actually our body, the capacity to move is that what make us participate to life. I mean, you don't go out there without a body, and the body carries the mind somehow, right? So the participation needs the body, and the body is like a car. We take care of the car, we buy spare parts, we prevent being without oil and without this and that, but we don't do that with our body. So yeah, it's not only to move as a movement, it's to participate in life. You need your body. And I think we need to work together with that. Definitely.
It's interesting to me because it's such a frequently repeated theme in the ACT universe is that you talked about coming to this work with this particular history that you sort of brought to the work, like experiencing pieces of your childhood where you couldn't move, and then times when you could move, and and finding different ways of movement, and how that history has informed your studies and explanation going forward. And of course, that has been the case with me, and it's been the case with most of the people who I know, who have been involved within this work. Steve has talked about his struggles with anxiety. My own history of addiction and depression and the like, and the need to find meaningful engagement in a world that could keep me here. Um, Carl, I think those kinds of things are spoken of derisively sometimes in academic circles. You know, you and I connecting around this, of course, came from my sort of late in life, you know, kind of epiphany that I could not reconcile the incredible neglect that I heaped upon my body for so many years. I mean, active destructiveness when I was a youngster, and then just sort of neglect, you know, all the way up to my 55th birthday, where, you know, I had that little epiphany on the side of a lake in the Swedish forest that if kindness towards people was important, and I was a people, that maybe kindness towards me would be important also.